for the invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. The pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin with our agenda, I'd like to welcome the parents and staff from Van Bocklen Elementary School to what I hear is your very first board meeting ever. Thank you. And you all are participating in your new parent university. We're very proud of you. Thank you for stepping up to participate, and we hope you enjoy the meeting. Okay, item 2.03 is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item 2.04 is establish agenda order, and the agenda stands as published. Item 2.05, recognitions. Christina Walsh.
Good morning. Good morning, President Corbalat, Vice President Nally, members of the board, and Dr. Arlato. I am Christiana Walsh, the Coordinator of Health, Physical Education, and Dance, and I have the pleasure of introducing this morning's recognition. Before I begin, I would like to ask the members of the board and Dr. Arlato to please come forward. Members of the board and Dr. Arlato, our school system's strategic plan very clearly states that our mission is to educate all of our students to be well prepared for college and for the workforce, and to empower them to create a better quality of life for themselves, their communities, and the next generation. The many partnerships our school system has cultivated play a huge role in the quality of life and community pieces of that statement, and I am thrilled to be able to highlight one of those partnerships today. The Bike-Minded Safety Program, created by Bike Maryland and funded by a federal Safe Routes to Schools grant, is a program designed to reduce bicycle-related crashes and fatalities in Maryland through free youth safety workshops. The initiative also includes an assessment of the existing environment around schools to identify issues that would make walking or riding bikes to school unsafe and to recommend solutions. We all know that children love to ride their bikes. We also know that such an endeavor, especially on our busy streets, can be very dangerous. So when Steve Miller, a director for Bicycle Advocates of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, otherwise known as Bike AAA, and Brian Kopp, the education coordinator for Bike Maryland, presented the program to elementary school physical education teachers in August, we quickly saw the benefits of this collaboration. The program's main goals are to improve the safety of children riding bikes and to promote a healthier lifestyle. There is special focus on proper helmet use to address bike-related crashes, which are among the leading causes of sports-related head injuries in children under the age of 14. Under the program, workshops are integrated into normal physical education classes for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Each workshop includes instructional lessons on the 8 rules of the road, a bike safety check, and practice on a skills building course with bicycles and helmets provided by Bike Maryland. As we speak, bike-minded safety programs are underway at George Cromwell Elementary School. By the time this school year ends, Bike-Minded Safety will have reached 26 schools and provided critical education and skills to nearly 5,000 elementary-age children in Anne Arundel County. A grant from the Maryland Highway Safety Office and managed by Bike AAA also provided free helmets to students at Woodside Elementary School and the Phoenix Academy. To put it simply, this program is a win-win-win for students, parents, and teachers. John Corin, president of Bike AAA, Steve Miller, and Brian Kopp are here with us this morning. As they come forward, please join me in thanking them for all they are doing to cultivate safer bicycling communities for Maryland students.
Thanks. What a great program. Thank you. Thank you. You're the super program. Wonderful. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. You have a bicycle?
I do.
So do I. I use it all the time.
Thank you very much. That's good. All right. Thanks. Good.
And if our board members could maybe part the seas here and when our gentlemen get in the middle. I'll just go back and make sure we can see if you guys can go Dr. Frank's direction a little bit. There we go. I think we can see it. Okay, everyone, 3 photos looking this way.
And I'll tell you, there's one other person we have to recognize here. It's Christiana Walsh. She invited us to come to the development seminar like she talked about this past summer with all the PE teachers. It was a springboard into making this initiative happen. And Bruce Lamartin, who is responsible for ensuring that this can be done safely in school, put together a 2-year memorandum of understanding that now has become a template for the rest of the state. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is 2.06, Educator of the Month. Mrs. Hummer.
There's a true art and science to teaching children, and our Educator of the Month is an expert practitioner of both. He uses the latest instructional technology while creating a learning environment where his students feel supported, challenged, and empowered. That special teacher is Mr. Chris Jacobs, Interactive Media Productions teacher at the Center of Applied Technology South. Mr. Jacobs uses his subject matter to create a sense of wonder, creativity, and excellence. He continually reaches students who have struggled to connect to their school environment in a meaningful way. If a student has a learning difference, a tough home life, or suffers from poverty, they succeed with Mr. Jacobs because he gives all his students hope. He will patiently demonstrate new content to the kid who makes sense of the world around him a little differently. Mr. Jacobs will take the time to make a student feel like they are the only one in the room. Walking into Mr. Jacobs' classroom, it's easy to see why so many students are engaged in the lesson and working so diligently on the class activity at hand. There is no downtime. Students are assessed, grouped, and then challenged to meet the outcome through any and all means necessary. Students are taught to collaborate and explore answers to exciting questions. While students deliberate over the challenging task for the day, Mr. Jacobs continually walks around the room, coaching each student to persevere and find the answer, then cheering for them when they got it. Chris Jacobs helps his students grow. This can be best stated by his students, one of whom said, "He has helped me prepare myself. He helps by helping, but not giving the answers. He helps you find the answer out for yourself." Another student stated, "He is really direct in a positive way. He really wants to push you to the next step. He inspires us all to try hard." And in the words of another student, "Everything I know about graphic design, I've learned from him. He treats the classroom like a real-world workplace." Chris Jacobs not only makes outstanding contributions to Cat South, but he supports Skills USA and encourages all his students to participate. As a result of Chris's dedication and time commitment on the board of directors, his students have received numerous awards and scholarship opportunities. Chris Jacobs, you consistently create a safe learning environment that allows your students to be imaginative and productive. You differentiate instruction for all students and promote professionalism and leadership by modeling behavior. Your love for your content is sensed by your students, and you inspire and impact each one that passes through your classroom every day. So for these reasons and many more, the Board of Education recognizes you as Educator of the Month for April 2016. Congratulations. Please come up front.
Thank you. What a surprise.
How did they get you here today?
Through false pretenses.
Usually so. What'd they tell you?
That we were here to propose for a level 3 class.
Well, that would be good too, but that's not what you're here for today. So who all's here for you? So it looks like you had quite a crowd.
It looks like my wife and my kids, my mom, my mother-in-law, my aunt.
And you have a bell with your name on it that you can ring and bring them all in order.
Awesome.
Hey, congratulations. Thank you for all
Thank you
do.
again. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, we're going to get some pictures afterwards if you want to hang around till the break. Employee of the Month, item 2.07, Ms. Sasso.
Today we recognize an employee in our school system who can be described as the consummate secretary. Her performance is consistently outstanding in every aspect of her position. She's loyal, confidential, discreet, and willing to undertake any assignment given to her by a team of 3 administrators at Severna Park Middle School. Kathy Truffer, Employee of the Month for April 2016, meticulously performs her duties each day with patience, poise, and professionalism. She prepares disciplinary letters and updates the SharePoint with the infractions associated with the discipline. No letters leave the office without the benefit of Kathy's wordsmithing skills. Kathy wears many hats at Severna Park Middle. She's the liaison with the transportation office, bus contractors, and drivers. She also assists with acquiring substitutes for the schools, sometimes with very little notice, but her strong connection with the community and with substitute teachers ensures that all classrooms are covered on any given day. Mrs. Truffer is also the point of contact for submission of required student forms, locker assignments, school pictures, and immunization. Her ability to manage all of these responsibilities so skillfully is worthy of note and praise. Mrs. Truffer has a great rapport with faculty, staff, students, and community members. She consistently engages all stakeholders with respect, and she helps to diffuse potentially volatile situations in the student office as the first line of communication for administrators. Her consistent willingness to assist all who need her is unrivaled. She anticipates the needs of her administrators and determines the times required to effectively satisfy those needs, all while completing her normal duties, a delicate balance with which she has mastered. Mrs. Truffer can be counted on to do her job with her trademark smile and consistent positive manner. It does not matter how hectic the day or how many requests are before her. She's pleasant, courteous, selfless, and resourceful. The administrators at Severna Park Middle depend on her and draw from her reservoir of calm each day as a means of managing their frenzied demands. Kathy Truffer, you are appreciated and admired by the students, teachers, and staff at Severna Park Middle School. As the consummate professional, you're consistently looking for ways to improve the students' office efficiency as well as your own personal growth. The value you bring to your school and to your administrators is immeasurable. So for these reasons and more, the Board of Education is honored to recognize you as Employee of the Month for April 2016. Congratulations. Please join me up front. very, very much for your service, Kathy.
Thank you.
And I hope that now that you're getting this, they don't add on to your
I'll
duties.
keep them in control. Thank you.
How did they
They
get
said
your
I was here to help with testing.
Oh.
Item 2.08, Volunteer of the Month, Mrs. Nally.
Some retired teachers just can't stay away. They find huge satisfaction as school volunteers who apply their expertise to work with students and support faculty now that they're free of the countless concerns they once carried as classroom teachers. The gift these seasoned educators bring to our students and staff is priceless. Today, the Board of Education is proud to honor Mrs. Pat Moran, one of these amazing classroom veterans who just can't stay away. Since 2011, Mrs. Moran has selflessly traveled from her Eastern Shore home in Chester, Maryland, to volunteer in a variety of ways. For 5 years, Pat has helped teachers set up their classrooms in August and helped them pack up every June. During the 2012 and 2014 moves for Annapolis Elementary School renovations, Pat tirelessly toiled alongside the staff to pack and unpack classroom materials. Each year, Pat has volunteered to instruct kindergartners at their Camp Woodlands annual field trip and has sewn over 50 Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat hats for each second grade student every March. As a retired chemistry teacher, Pat has committed her invaluable expertise to assist the Annapolis Elementary STEM lab specialist, Sharon Disher, every Monday and Wednesday over the past 2 school years. Together, they deliver efficient and effective STEM lessons to every student, kindergarten through 5th grade. Sharon Disher reports, "I've grown to depend on Pat's consistent organization of the hundreds of lab items and her dependable setup and cleanup routine for each and every lesson. As a result, I am able to teach more classes each day and plan for more hands-on experiences than I could ever handle on my own." Of course, as a dedicated science teacher, Pat Moran can't be limited to the science supply closet during exciting STEM lessons. She supports the STEM specialist's instruction by helping students find their inner creativity and gently guiding them to apply perseverance in order to solve STEM problems. Pat confidently models these lessons as she herself strives to learn new concepts of computer coding along with the students. Her kind, caring, and encouraging demeanor makes her a favorite among students as she aids them individually to understand the science, engineering, and computer coding lessons. Principal Bobby Kessiker writes, "Pat Moran is a dedicated volunteer to Annapolis Elementary, where we consider her an integral part of our team who helps us achieve our mission." Thank you, Pat Moran. Would you please come forward? With great appreciation, I would like to present this Volunteer of the Month certificate and bell to you.
Well, I'm glad to finally meet you. My 3 grandchildren go to Annapolis Elementary, and I hear about these STEM lessons all the time from Matthew and Bo and Peyton, so thank you so much. And I'd like to present this certificate to you. And wow, what a contribution. And this bell, now you can ring to get everybody in order with your name on it. Now, how did they get here? What did they tell you?
I thought it was my daughter who was being recognized. I'm just completely shocked. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And now, who is here? Everybody stand up from Annapolis Elementary. Yay! Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item 2.09, School and Community Highlights. Mrs. Hummer.
At the last meeting, we talked about that Brockbridge Elementary had a family reading night with the National PTA, and at that meeting, Amazon donated 100 Kindles to Brockbridge Elementary, and we were featured on the Today Show. And so there was a little blurb. So if you go online and you look up, there's a piece on Beverly Cleary, the author who's turning 100 this week. And at the end, there's a little blurb, and you can see students from Brockbridge using their new Kindles. So thank you very much to Amazon and National PTA for that. I went to Jones Elementary to see one of our new National Board Certified teachers, Charlene Byerline, put on a show with the third graders, Science Rocks, that went along with their science fair, and it was awesome. And any elementary teachers that are looking for something to do to involve arts and science together, they should contact Ms. Byerline and find out about that show, because it was great fun. Last week I went to the Middle School Band Festival at Annapolis High School, and I got to see 4 or 5 of our middle schools perform, and it's really just amazing what they're doing. And it was great to see the musical talent that we have within the school system. And then 2 weeks ago, we had the Anne Arundel Arts Council gala, which was a great time, and they're such great partners with our school of bringing people in, and it was wonderful to go to that gala and support them as well in all their endeavors to bring the arts to the county. So.
Mrs. Burge.
Thank you. I just have 2 things I want to mention. One is that last Friday evening I was able to go to the PTA Founders Dinner, which was a wonderful time, and I did contribute mightily through the silent auction. But that's okay. I got good things. But it was a wonderful evening, and I very much enjoyed being there and want to thank them for inviting me. Several of our other board members were there as well, so thank you for representing the board with me. Also, over spring break, I think I did all of my volunteer hours for the year by chaperoning a trip with Brooklyn Park Middle School to Disney World. So I think that I've gotten all of the volunteer hours that I need to do forever done. It was a great time. It was a great trip. They got to do, it was the PVA group from Brooklyn Park Middle. They got to do some of the Disney classes that they offer, engineering, learning how roller coasters, use physics to work. There are students who did Broadway classes and acting classes. I mean, it was really a fantastic trip, but it took me about 4 or 5 days to get back to my human self after we returned. So, but a wonderful time.
I just had a couple other things to add. Right before spring break, I had a chance to speak at the District 30 Democrat Club meeting about education in the county and just kind of go over the demographics of how we've changed in the last decade. And that was a really nice opportunity to share with the Annapolis community. And I don't know how many people had a chance to go to the Annapolis Film Festival over the weekend, but one of the documentaries that had been at the Sundance Film Festival was about alternative high schools, high school program in California, and they were able to screen the film for our Phoenix and Mary Moss students. And along with the filmmakers for a Q&A, they brought a couple of the students from the alternative high school just to, bring a face and let kids know that this is happening all over the country. They're not alone, and there's ways to get through it and be very successful. And it was just a really encouraging film. I had a chance to see it on Saturday as well. Mrs. Pickard.
Pressed the wrong button, sorry. I also attended the arts gala and came home with some silent auction items of a local painting, which is now on the wall and cost us a good bit of money. But it's a great great group that we partner with our schools. I had the opportunity last week to tour 3 schools in the Southern Cluster with Dr. Arlotto, and I wanted to highlight and thank Principal Melissa Brown from Lothian and Principal Jeff Casey from Shadyside Elementary and the Southern High School Principal Kevin Hamlin. School visits are, I think, really integral to the work that board members do, and I just happened to make this list over the weekend because I learned so much from from those trips. But some of the things, issues and topics spotlighted for Dr. Arlato and I were managing with open classrooms, pre-K expansion in the cluster, class size increases, Triple E arts integration, collaborative planning efforts that go along with Triple E, then managing a brand new building, the lack of adequate public transportation in the issue, increasing poverty, the Triple E concept with global studies, and then at the high school level, the tremendous community and business involvement, their career center, the supports we provide for ninth graders, the push-pull of high school guidance counselors between the social, emotional, and the college and career readiness aspects. It's a lot. On a school visit, you can get so much, and I definitely learned that we as a school district put tremendous responsibilities on our principals, and they certainly are rising to the occasion. So thank you to those folks in the Southern Cluster for those visits.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 2.10, the CAC report, and we do not have a report today. So we're going to go ahead and take a break for pictures with the educator, employee, and volunteer of the month, and we'll be back. On an item not on today's agenda may offer testimony during this public comment portion of the meeting. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes each, and the board asks that comments remain civil and appropriate for various audiences that may be watching or viewing the meeting. Student-specific and personnel matters are confidential and cannot be discussed in this forum. This time is intended for speakers to voice their opinion and not necessarily as a question and answer period. Speakers may pose questions, but answers will be counted toward the 3-minute allotment. For the record, please give your name before speaking, and handouts should be given to the board assistant. I have 2 completed cards, Lisa Van Buskirk and Claudia O'Keefe.
My name is Claudia O'Keefe. Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I would like to request an update to the high school reading curriculum. It appears the reading list was updated fairly recently to better reflect our cultural diversity in our schools. African American and Hispanic authors and subject matter were added. That was an important, very important, and much needed change. I'd like to request the same attention be given to our female students. I feel the current reading list does not provide appropriate content or range for the young women in our schools. There are 48 texts listed on the AACPS website for 9th through 12th grade English classes. Of these 48 works, 15 focus on female main characters. Of these 15, there are at least 8 coming-of-age stories, many of which are set in the 1930s and 40s. The remaining stories involve dated main characters that are largely based on romantic conflicts or stories defined by the woman's relationship with men, such as The Scarlet Letter, about a woman's adultery, Crimes of the Heart, woman shoots her husband. There's not a single book on the reading list that relates to a strong modern adult woman. By comparison, only 3 of the books with male protagonists could be described as coming-of-age stories. Male protagonists include an emperor, Julius Caesar, neurosurgeon, Dr. Ben Carson, soldiers, men off on adventures or hard at work. It's important to provide the perspective of women in modern society, to reinforce their importance in society, to show young women in our schools there is more to their lives than growing up and looking for a suitable husband, to show young men in our schools that women are intelligent equals, not perpetual children looking for a man to take care of them. There's no shortage of literature with strong female protagonists. Recent fictional works from authors like Sarah Novick, P.D. James, J.K. Rowling, Suzanne Collins provide a modern point of view. Nonfiction includes biographies of Grace Hopper, Jane Goodall, Sonia Sotomayor. Numerous books have been written about women who have served in our military in Iraq and in Afghanistan. There's plenty of material to choose from. The school system has already recognized the importance of providing more relevant reading material for our minority students. We need to do the same for our daughters. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Van Buskirk. I'm with Start School Later. I was going to comment on the health presentation. Do you want me to comment now or save it for health related and start times?
Either one.
Oh, well, since I'm here. All right. Good morning, Board of Education and Dr. Alato. I look forward to hearing the presentation later. And I look forward to when AACPS can point to its healthier school hours as one of the ways it's positively impacting its students' health. Until then, a lack of sleep is an elephant in the room, contributing to many negative health impacts, but unrecognized by society as a whole for both adults and teens. And hopefully Ariana Huffington's book that was published yesterday, Sleep Revolution, will help change that conversation for adults. But it does also mention teen sleep at the end. It starts at home with parents and guardians setting an example of valuing sleep and not making it a badge of honor to only operate on 3-4 hours of sleep. And continues during the school day with healthy school hours. As you can see in the handouts, the 2-page handout I have, which I'll read to you a few paragraphs. Sleep loss has wide-ranging consequences, including obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and hypertension. Sleep deprivation reduces the immune system. With later, healthier school start times, teens experience fewer sports injuries and miss fewer days of school due to illness. Inadequate sleep is linked to depressed mood, anxiety, behavioral problems, alcohol and drug use, risky behaviors, and suicidal thoughts. The Maryland Youth Risk Behavior Survey in 2013 shows that 16.9% of Anne Arundel High School students seriously considered suicide, and 13% made a plan to do so. Those numbers are slightly higher than Maryland's average as a whole. When able to sleep more, Teens' attitudes and behavior improve, teens report less depression, and teens' need for medication decreases. A cost-benefit analysis in Fairfax, Virginia estimated that later start times would save the community over $1.5 million. Increased and adequate sleep decreases the risk-taking behavior such as alcohol and drug use. The Maryland Youth Risk Behavior Survey from 2013 shows that Anne Arundel High School students have higher rates of substance abuse than the Maryland average across nearly all categories queried. Page 2 of my handout is for those who like visual examples of the different body parts affected by a lack of sleep. But we must remember all of these negative impacts will not immediately manifest themselves in all of AACPS's students during their time in the school system. But we must acknowledge the irreversible damage to many of the developing minds and bodies from our early start times. Moving to healthier school hours, as Dr. Olato will propose later this month, is an important step forward to halting the harm to our students' health. Ultimately, sleep and school hours are a public health issue governed by education policy. I thank the board for their continued pursuit of healthier and safer school hours for all ages. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any additional cards. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Okay. We'll move on to action items. The first one, 4.01, administrative personnel appointments. Dr. Olato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the personnel listed on the attached sheet be promoted and or appointed.
So moved.
All those in favor? Motion passes 800. Item 4.02, personnel. Dr. Olato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend the board approve actions as stipulated on the attached sheets.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes 800. Next, we have 4 policies that are up for a vote from third reading. The first one is item 4.03, technology use and security, policy DI. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy DI, subject to final correction for style and format.
So moved. Second.
Are there any board questions or comments? Is there any public comment? All those in favor? Motion passes 900. Item 4.04 is professional staff promotions and appointments, policy GBP. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy GBP, subject to final correction for style and format.
So moved.
Any board questions or comments? Is there any public comment? All those in favor? Motion passes 900. Item 4.05, policy on school safety patrols, JEI. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy JEI, subject to final correction for style and format.
So moved. Second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? All those in favor? Motion passes 900. And the last of our third readings, 4.06, policy on violence and vandalism, KG. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of policy KG, subject to final correction for style and format.
So moved.
Second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? All those in favor? Motion passes 900. Next, we have 2 policies that are here for the second reading. The first is 4.07, Human Relations and School Culture, KBC, and there were no public comments during the 30-day period, correct?
That's correct.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? Okay. Item 4.08, second reading, policy on professional support staff and executive staff benefits, GBB. Also no public comment during the posting on the website.
That's correct.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? Okay. We will move on to item 4.09, new course approvals. This is an information to action item. Do I have a motion to move this from information to action?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Olato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of these courses beginning with the 2016-2017 school year.
Are there any board questions or comments? Mrs. Hummer?
Where will these classes be offered?
So, good morning, good morning, board members. For the record, my name is Skip Lee. I'm the director of curriculum. The two courses supported by the IB program will be at the the IB schools.
All the IB schools?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the internship course that we're proposing would be relative to the signatures of each of the schools, so all of 12 high schools. So it would be the third course we're proposing is for all the high schools.
Making business connections, so
Yes.
that'll be offered everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Sassa?
We're very optimistic about the Making Business Connections course, but it's brand new, so there's no way of knowing, because it's an elective, how that will roll out. We're optimistic, though, that it will provide a certain level of educational experience that we haven't had in place before. As far as the IB track is concerned, it depends on the number of students that are in each of the individual IB schools.
Is there a cutoff number? Like if you get 10, you'll have the subject, or even if there's only one person, you will have it?
Oh, no, ma'am. These are course proposals that are afforded to the entire school system, and then what happens at each of the individual schools is they'll do a annual registration, and students are encouraged to sign up for those courses. But in terms of a minimum, that's not something that we establish here at Central Office. It's done at a school-by-school basis.
Is there any public comment? All those in favor? Motion passes 9-0-0. Item 4.10 is the Chesapeake High School third-party project baseball storage shed. This is an information to action item. Do I have a motion to move this from information to action?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Olato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of the Chesapeake High School third-party project baseball storage shed.
Do I have a second? Second. I have a board question. Mrs. Hummer.
Yes, I think this looks great. Just Chesapeake High School, it still says that Dr. Maxwell is the superintendent at the top of your papers. So
We will correct that.
Dr. Olato might like to have his name.
It's been going on for quite a long time.
Looks like a great facility.
Yes. Any public comment on this item? All those in favor? All those in favor? Opposed? Are you abstaining? Okay. Okay, motion passes 9-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4.11 is an update on legislation. This is an information item. Mrs. Cutchess.
Again, Jessica Cutchess, Policy and Legislative Council. As of today, the House of Delegates has introduced 1,644 bills, and the Senate has introduced 1,173 bills. The exhibit in front of you is up to date as of March 30th. The last day of session is less than a week away. I am smiling. Things are getting better by the day. As we continue to get closer to the end of session, the status of some of these bills have certainly changed since the information on your sheet. So if you have any questions about a particular bill, I am happy to answer them at this time.
Mrs. Hummer.
I'm sorry, I don't have the exact number in there, but I just wanted an update on the pre-K funding bill. What's that? I know it's still in discussion and probably not something this year, but
right.
How's that moving forward?
The pre-K funding bill was a great bill as far as awareness is concerned. We knew that it was an uphill battle given the fiscal note that was associated with it for it to pass, but what is happening is that it's ultimately going to be rolled into the adequacy study and the sort of Thornton 2, the Excellence in Commission bill that's being heard. So the information that was provided and Mrs. Korbalak's efforts for testimony and all the advocacy on behalf of pre-K funding will go towards the funding commission that's going to be looking at that issue.
Mrs. Birch?
I just want to ask your thoughts. My opinion is that any bill that has not left the first house and is still awaiting markup by the first house is likely not going to go anywhere. Is that?
I would definitely agree with that. We had an unusual situation last year where on the last day of session, a bill went through both houses that impacted us, the GCI mandatory bill that went through both houses and then passed. But absent that, it's highly unlikely that that would happen at this point.
So for my fellow board members and for the public, if you see a bill on this list that says awaiting markup from the very first house, chances are it got stuck in the chairman's drawer and hasn't found its way out.
I would agree with that statement.
Dr. Frank?
Are there any bills that are of concern to you that may come forward?
That's a very complicated question. So as bills go through the process, they're often amended. So at times there's bills that are very concerning to us, but we still work on amendments through the process so that they become less concerning to us through the process. So at this point, I am hopeful that any bills that would be of dire concern, there's nothing that is going to be shock and awe value at this point, but that we can amend to get into a sort of situation that we can handle.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us and the public an update on the two bills that we had asked for, the adjunct teacher and the Easter Monday?
Yes, unfortunately, they are falling into the slot, as Mrs. Burge mentioned, and they may be in a drawer. So the Easter Monday bill, there really was not a lot of discussion on it. I'm not quite sure what the reluctance was, but there really wasn't a lot of spirit behind it or really a lot of discussion on about it. The adjunct professor bill, on the other hand, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of meetings, and a lot of talk about it as far as dealing with the different advocacy groups. There was some concern noted that certain groups felt that the certification process that the state has is what needs to remain at this point, despite the problems that we have noted that are associated with those. So never taking no for an answer and never giving up on something that we feel is worthwhile and worthy, we are looking at other avenues besides legislation to get to the end that we would like to. And one of those is we are working through, under Mrs. Talara's leadership, with the Professional Teacher Standards Board, which would make recommendations to MSDE on COMAR regulations that could meet the needs of what we're trying to do. And additionally, we're hoping for a positive letter from someone in the legislature, which we think will be coming, encouraging MSDE to work with us towards this end. We've also talked to the Maryland State Educators Association, and they would be willing to continue this conversation. So I don't think the conversation's over by the bill being in the drawer, but we just have to look at other avenues to get where we want to go.
Thank you for everything you've done this session, as always.
Thank you.
Next, we have some review items. 5.01, Healthy Students, Healthy Schools, A Journey to Cultivating Communities of Wellness. And this is a presentation.
Good morning, President Korvalak, Vice President Nally, Dr. Arlato, and members of the board. For the record, my name is Jody Rissi, and I'm the Supervisor of Food and Nutrition Services. It is my honor to formally welcome you to Healthy Anne Arundel Month, and it's our annual Wellness Council update. Today, I'm proud to introduce the initiatives pursued and the actions taken in respect to wellness in our school system. As one of the original members of the Wellness Council, I'm pleased to share the passion and the collaboration that we have in all council membership. Our council is led by Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Arlen Liverman. Joining me this morning are colleagues from our schools as well as the Wellness Council. They're going to share information about the Enhanced Wellness Toolkit, a resource that we developed in Wellness Council to assist schools in all wellness endeavors. We will also share one particular school's journey as they strive to cultivate communities of wellness and how they use the toolkit in hope to be recognized as a wellness school of distinction. Joining me today are Mrs. Shauna Kaufman, principal of Arnold Elementary, and also a Wellness Council member. We also have Mr. Jason Williams. He's the principal of Northeast High School and also a Wellness Council member. Ms. Jacqueline Dunn. She's the Northeast High School Signature Program Facilitator, and also Mrs. Christiana Walsh, who's Coordinator of Physical Education, Health and Dance, and also a Wellness Council member. We have amazing partnerships and collaborations within the Wellness Council, but what we do can only happen with the support and the leadership from each of you. On behalf of the Wellness Council, we thank you for this opportunity to share the goals, objectives, the outcomes, and how wellness is a key ingredient to the whole child, to the success of the whole child. Together, we can certainly cultivate communities of wellness. Without further ado, let me turn the presentation over to Mrs. Shauna Kaufman.
Good morning. My name is Shauna Kaufman. I'm the principal of Arnold Elementary School. As Ms. Reese indicated, we're going to go over the Wellness Toolkit. We have been working on it for over a year in the Wellness Council, so we wanted to share our work with you. First of all, the Wellness Council has a mission, and we wanted to share that with you rather quickly. We value wellness in all of our stakeholders, students, employees, and our community. We definitely recognize good health, sound nutrition, physical activity, and a healthy school environment play a key role in student success and achievement, including staff members and the community. We provide resources and strategies to help schools and our community at large to become healthy and to implement our wellness policies. One of those resources is our Wellness Toolkit. This is available on our intranet and on the Winning for Wellness page. You can click on the Wellness Toolkit. This brings you to our slide, Wellness Toolkit homepage, and you can see that there's an icon in the middle. This is based on the Center for Disease Control and Prevention model that Anne Arundel County adopted. It involves 10 components of wellness, and if you look to the side, you can see that we have several buttons. So if a school is interested in starting a wellness committee, they can go to this page and they can go to, at the upper right-hand corner, Getting Started button. That gives each step a guideline for how to start a committee and what to do to begin the journey of wellness in their school. We also have a short video with Dr. Arlotto sharing his visions of wellness and the desire of the schools to make it an important part of their school. Then we also have another button, which is the Wellness Council highlights. And on those, after every Wellness Council meeting, we share with the community all of the great things that are going on in our schools. So it's great for other schools to hear what is the highlights for wellness. Then we can go to the wellness icon that's in the middle, and you can click on all of those blue links for those specific areas. And there are resources there as well for our schools to look and discover new ways to improve wellness. That includes resources which are abundant for different activities or things to share with the students or parents, and you'll hear more about that in just a minute. There are also a Q&A, so frequently asked questions and answers, or where to go for answers about wellness in those different areas. And then there are also our goals and objectives for each area for the Wellness Council. We're very focused in our wellness attempts and how we share that and provide resources. Okay, that is our overview. We will now hear from Northeast High School and their journey of wellness.
Good morning. I'm Jason Williams, principal at Northeast High School, and I'm happy to be here this morning to discuss how we at Northeast High School have adopted the Wellness Toolkit to cultivate a Northeast High School community of wellness. Our signature program is Human Performance, which gives us an established and dynamic platform to incorporate the toolkit's criteria and also to use the toolkit as a framework in achieving the goals of our human performance signature. which is to create a culture of healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy souls at Northeast High School. I want to thank Arlen Liverman and I want to thank Jody Reese for inviting me and my signature facilitator, Ms. Jackie Dunn, to Arlen's office in February to discuss the toolkit and how it will provide guidance for NHS in its quest towards being a wellness school of distinction. I think we were all excited about this discussion. It was a result of the February meeting where we gathered in Arlen's office to discuss the wellness goals for the NHS community and how those goals can be fully realized through our comprehensive awareness of what the Wellness Toolkit has to offer. Also, this meeting generated ideas of how Northeast involvement in the Wellness Council could help inform the effective implementation of the toolkit in all high schools in Anne Arundel County. As I stated, we want to be a wellness school of distinction. We have attempted the feat 2 years in a row, but have fallen just shy of that objective. To rectify this, it is at the operational level of our human performance signature. We have adopted the 10 wellness components as our meeting agenda template for our ICST, which is our integrated community stakeholder team. We have begun to monitor and attain progress toward our signature wellness goals through these norms. This action step, the ideas that spring from this framework, distinguishes our school. Our ICST is the energy and substance behind our human performance signature. It is made up of our business partners that are in the health and human services industries and are also providers of health and human services in our community. At this time, I would like to mention our outstanding chairwoman for our ICST, Ms. Carol Boyer, who is unable to be with us today, but she continues to show her support for the wellness initiatives of Anne Arundel County Public Schools through the good work that she does at our school building. ICST also informs another major conduit available at Northeast High School, which is Parent University. When we speak of the toolkit's component of family engagement, we speak of Parent University at Northeast High School. It has two purposes. One is to reward our parents in their engagement in their students' achievement at our high school. The second is to grow their advocacy in the community. It is our program to spread advocacy for family health and well-being in the Northeast community, and its intent is to reach beyond the walls of our high school and a positive influence in student achievement. Our ICST is who provides the experts and organizations to present the parents and affect change in our identified areas of need. At this time, I would like to turn our presentation over to Ms. Jackie Dunn, our signature facilitator. Her efforts make signature work inside and outside of our building, and she will demonstrate how the 10 components of the toolkit are informing wellness initiatives for all our stakeholders in the NHS community.
Good morning. I'm Jacqueline Dunn. I'm the Signature Program Facilitator at Northeast High School. And thank you for allowing us to share with you how the Northeast High School community addresses wellness through the lens of our human performance signature. Okay. One component is community involvement. And one example of how we engage with the community is with the Department of Aging when we used a curriculum overlay with our signature theme infused and did a virtual dementia tour with our students and also through our parent university. Another component of the toolkit is health education and services, and we have an amazing school nurse who gets involved in the classroom and works with our students and our teachers to enhance the curriculum by providing educational services. Another example of health education is through our field trips. We take several field trips throughout the year to teach students about health education, and our most popular is the one that we take Fill the Bus and beyond to the anatomy lab. In addition to addressing our wellness initiatives with students, we also have employee wellness initiatives in place where we provide screenings for our employees, and then also allow them time outside of the classroom to visit a local fitness center. Collectively, we bring our students, our faculty, and the community together for a number of events throughout the year. One that we're very proud of is our 5K run, which is Miles for Music, and it brings in at least 100 people each year. Our environmental club addresses our physical, another component of the toolkit, which is physical environment, and they hold events inside the school with our students and outside with the community to bring awareness to the physical environment. Nutrition services is addressed in many ways, in the classroom, outside of the classroom, and in the center you'll see a picture of our students who run our food pantry at the school, and that is where we work with the community to bring food in, and then we offer backpacks full of food for students to take home over the weekends or long holidays. Another component, social and emotional climate, is our students and our faculty are engaged in making good decisions that lead to healthy lives. And then moving forward, we are working with our integrated community stakeholders team and our teachers to implement a hydroponic farm. And our signature class will be working with a projects manager on how to engage all of the disciplines within the school so that we can make this a school-wide focus that enhances our signature program and also wellness themes. And lastly, we have a video that our signature students created during National Breakfast Week, and this was done with the nurses from the University of Maryland and Maryland Hunger Solutions, and we will end by showing you their video.
Today is Thursday, March 10th, and we are celebrating National School Breakfast Week by participating in Hear the Maryland Crunch. Hundreds of thousands of Marylanders will join us today in biting into an apple and hearing the crunch to spread the message that every student should have access to a healthy breakfast at school. In fact, we may even break last year's record and have 1 million crunchers this year.
Maryland has helped to lead the way with its breakfast programs and has made a difference. Students who eat breakfast are healthier, better students, and even have better attendance. That's why we'll celebrate today by crunching together.
Thousands of students in our state benefit from breakfast in the classroom, thanks to our national model, the Maryland Meals for Achievement program. There are also 227 hunger-free schools in our state, including all Baltimore City and Somerset County Public Schools.
Hear the crunch.
Hear the crunch.
Eat a healthy breakfast so you can teach all day.
Eat a healthy breakfast so you can stay awake all day.
Eat a healthy breakfast so you can study hard and get good grades.
Now I need your help. When I say breakfast, you say yum. Ready? Breakfast!
Yum!
Breakfast!
Yum!
When I say Maryland, you say crunch. Maryland!
Crunch!
Maryland!
Crunch!
Great job, Eagles. Now get your apples ready. Help me count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hear that, Maryland crunch?
Nobody delivers a message like students. Just in closing, I hope you can see that these are the elements that we feel truly distinguishes us in our wellness efforts. But not only distinguishes us in order to become a wellness school of distinction, but as you can see, that the exposure and the advocacy also creates a healthy environment for our NHS community. Together we create healthy schools, healthy students, and together we cultivate a community of wellness. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Do we have any board questions at all? Any public comment? All right, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
The next two items on the agenda are for the Monarch Academy Contract School, the Annapolis campus. These are both review items. Item 5.02 is the contract or is the lease, and item 5.03 is the educational specification. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Larry Albert, Supervisor of Planning, Design, and Construction.
Kathy Lane, Executive Director of Alternative Education.
And we have three items, actually, I believe, before you. There's the lease.
Missed one, 504.
Just one.
The schematic design drawings.
Not to correct you, but make sure we got them all. And we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have any board questions? Mrs. Hummer?
So will the school be completely finished when it opens, in that the full K through 5 will be able to start right from the beginning, or will it be like our other Monarchs where they gradually added more students over the years?
The idea right now is the building will be complete. It obviously won't open K to 5. Right now, the idea is open K to 3 or K to 4. We haven't decided, but the building will be fully complete. There won't be stages that it will be built in.
And the other thing we want to look at is we want to look at the lottery, and because we want to be sensitive to siblings. So it's our prediction when I look at the enrollment trends in the Annapolis feeder, there seems to be a peak around 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. So we're anticipating that's going to be the largest amount. But we do want to be sensitive to siblings. So as we look at the lottery, we'll determine the number of grades and the number of classes at each grade.
Before we go any further, I think everybody knows at the table, except for Dr. Argrass. Would you introduce yourself, particularly some of our new board members, as you're representing Monarch?
My apologies.
Thank you.
Dwayne Arbogast, I'm Vice President for Educational Services at the Children's Guild, which is the operator for Monarch.
And Pat Crane, Senior Manager of Alternative Programs.
And what is the total enrollment of the school? The planned enrollment will be
530 to open, and then we'll expand. We'll probably be around 670 the second year, and we'll eventually approach 800.
800 K to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Frank?
I've been here a couple times, so thank you, Tom. I started my career as a teacher at Crofton Elementary and was an assistant principal at Southgate, Crofton Woods, principal at Annapolis Elementary, Ridgeway Elementary. Came and worked in this building in data and accountability, and essentially retired in 2010 and became Chief Academic Officer in Prince George's County. I left Prince George's in 2014 to join the Children's Guild.
When I bring this up, the reason I obviously brought this up is because my children now have graduated from college, but thank you for getting them through elementary school.
Thank you, Tom.
I think the only other thing we had mentioned or discovered in the closed session was the lease, item 5.02, next to the last page, item 11 was discussing that we're not going to permit musical instruments to be played in the premises. So we probably don't want to have that in the lease if we're going to have music classes.
Consider it done.
Okay.
But I am, I'm a little bothered that we also won't be allowed to have a barber shop or a manicurist there, and so, or a stenographer with her typewriter.
We're still on the fence about the bicycles inside the building.
That's right. Are there any public comments on items 502, 503, or 504? All right. Thank you. The next review item is 5.05, award of contracts. Are there any board questions or comments? Mrs. Hummer?
The teacher of the visually impaired is, I know that that's contracted out. Is that an itinerant teacher, or will that be a full-time teacher with us, or a teacher as needed at various schools?
For the record, Alex Chaknov, Chief Operating Officer. It's actually dictated by the requirements of the IEP for the youngsters, so the amount of service hours that an individual student would receive and the level or degree of services would comport with the requirements embedded within that child's IEP.
Is there any public comment on this item? Okay. The last agenda items are consent items, award of contracts. Do I have a motion to bundle 6.01 through 6.03 and move them from information to action? All those in favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend the Board of Education award contracts as listed on today's agenda as 6.01, 6.02, and 6.03.
All those in favor? Whoops, I'm sorry. Mrs. Birch.
Oddly enough, I have quick questions on each of these. First, the asbestos abatement. Is that the current Severna Park building?
That is correct.
And that has to be done before we can eventually tear it down?
Correct. Once the new building is up and has received its certificate of occupancy, the students and faculty that currently reside in the existing Severna Park High School will transition over to the new facility, and then we will have to abate any hazardous materials remaining in the old existing building before we can demolish it and complete that half of the project.
Okay. What is a welding fume extraction system?
It's essentially a welding hood during the process. Both of our CAT centers have programs where they teach welding, and during the course of the welding operation, they actually create noxious odors and fumes associated with the smelting and the welding process. So it's a hood system, much like a kitchen hood possibly in a restaurant, but specifically tailored to extract the fumes produced as a result of the welding operation.
We wouldn't be able to do that at the Monarch School because there's something in that contract that says no unpleasant odors in that building. The third question I have is terrazzo flooring at Severna Park High School. I thought we didn't do terrazzo flooring anymore.
We do in terms of accents for buildings. Certainly it would be unaffordable to create the whole entire building, but key focused accent areas, high trafficked areas are subject to high degrees of abuse.
Maybe the lobby or something like that.
Correct, like an entrance foyer type situation.
All right, those are my three questions. Thank you.
All those in favor now? Motion passes 900. I just have a couple of announcements. The next Board Policy Committee meeting is Wednesday, April 13th at 1 p.m. in Conference Room 2A. The next Board Budget Committee meeting is Wednesday, April 20th at 4:30 p.m. And the next Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, April 20th at 7 p.m. Mrs. Nally.
I'd like to move that the board go into closed session to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice on a legal matter and to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiations.
Second. All those in favor? All right, we're now in closed session. That concludes the meeting. Thank you.